this one at a time. Yes, indeed. Okay, we're ready to go up here. I hope everybody there is welcome to the planning committee meeting of Wednesday, October the 16th. It's 4 o'clock. And we have 3 items on the agenda. Motion on the minutes. Move seconded. All those in favor, contrary carried. Next committee meeting is November the 5th. And the first item on the agenda is a recommendation, long-term Stevenson Street Gate vision. And we got Peter Eng, who's going to let us know, and this is to be endorsed for further investigation, and a second item on it. Okay?
Mr. Chair, I have nothing to add to the report, but happy to answer questions.
Okay, Carol, hang on here. I get to have fun today. There we are.
There we go. Thank you very much for the options for Stevenson Streetscape. So if I understand correctly, just 154 people voted for angle parking on Chatham. That was all the responses we got, I think. That voted for it on page 16. It says, sorry.
Just to clarify, you're talking about the 154 number?
Yeah, 150, sorry. It's option 2, sorry.
Yes, those are, through the chair to Councillor Day, yes, those are the number of people that ranked it first. So everyone was asked to rank these options from 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
So what we presented here are the number of people that ranked each option first and last.
Yeah, perfect. And I see that it's going to gain 17 stalls between 4th Avenue and 6th Avenue. What would be the total stalls then? It says on page 18 in the top line, street and travel lanes will be shifted north. This would result in a net gain in parking of approximately 17 stalls. So there will already be some now, so will it gain? Well, what's the total amount?
Through the chair to Councillor Day, we are working through a comprehensive parking study for the Steveston Village area. As a preliminary, depends on what you count, there's roughly about 1,800 parking stalls that are in the area, so this would be in addition to that.
Okay. We'll know more when you come back with more detailed plan. And then on Bayview, we're talking about making a shared road. Will it be one way?
Through the chair to Councillor Day, no, the proposal is not for it.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Hang on here, Andy. There you are.
Okay, thanks, and through the chair, thanks very much for the report. Lots of information in there, and I do think the Steveston area in general does need a bit of a refresh and improvement to some of the different traffic aspects that we have there. I do like the angle parking aspect. I know not everybody does. The furniture additions to sidewalks and everything, I think could be quite attractive. The priorities, I understand the pedestrian priority, the active transportation and green space. And I know a lot of people considered parking to be not one of their top priorities, but I think in reality, a lot of people still do drive there. Not everybody lives within walking distance. I happen to, but I know a lot of people don't. So I think the parking situation, it is wise to address it, as the report does, with various options. One thing I did wonder about with the surveys was if you broke out different cohorts, like visitors or people that live within walking distance, but I'm really curious about the business cohort. Like, what were their survey answers like? And maybe you don't have that answer today, but maybe down the road, because I think things to do with parking and traffic and direction of roads, one way or two way, would be very much on their minds, I would think.
Through the chair to Council Hobbs, we did engage with the Steveston Merchants Association through the project. Through phase 1, they did express their biggest concern is parking and parking management. Through phase 2, they did not rank the options for us.
Sure, and actually that's a good point to make is that the consultation undertaken for this report, I thought was really good. I thought you had some really good responses, and you do list all the different groups and stakeholders, and it was pretty comprehensive. Just on the bike route, I think there was, maybe it was option 3, where it talked about going down Chatham. I wondered, did we do any bicycle counts on any routes? Because just intuitively, for me, walking or riding a bike, I find that the bike route through Steveston is mostly kind of tourist, kind of recreation-based, or people stopping for coffee on the ride. But so what it does is it goes down Imperial and then down Bayview and then winds its way down through to Gary Point, I find. So when we're talking about the bike route on Chatham, for instance, I'm just questioning whether that's really the dominant biking route for people when they're cycling, because it doesn't seem to be for me. So do we have a count on that?
Through the chair to Councillor Hobbs, we don't have a count. However, in engaging with the public, we did get very varied feedback on the cycling usage and the desires. We did present the various options. Some had cycling routes on Bayview, some had them on Chatham, and we did get feedback for, both of them.
Yeah, okay, and I think my last comment for now will just be, and one other question, is the joint roadway that would be on Bayview. I was concerned when I read it just from a safety point of view with the mixture of two-way traffic and cyclists and pedestrians and how that would all be confined. But the diagrams and the renderings later on in the report are actually quite good. So as long as it can be done, obviously, in a way that's safe and gives everybody the needed space and that kind of thing, I think it could be quite attractive. And my last question through the chair is just on the dike issue. In the report, it talked about the need to raise the dike there. And I thought that the Steveston Island diking option versus raising the dike in the Steveston commercial area there, I didn't know we were doing both. So just to confirm, we still are looking at raising the dike along Bayview?
Through the chair to Councillor Hobbs, there is still secondary dike raising in behind the Steveston Island dike. The reason for that is as sea level continues to rise, if the secondary dike isn't established, then the sea gate could never really be opened in the long term and allow use for the harbor.
Right, okay, that makes sense. Thanks, yeah, I think this is actually a really exciting report, and I understand it's something we've been looking at for a long time, so I appreciate it, and a lot of diverse opinions on it, so thank you.
Michael?
Thank you. Through the chair, quite a couple questions to staff. First off, in the attachment on page 20, it highlights the top 3 areas for improvement: pedestrian space, active transportation, and green space. First question is about the green space. Which of the options would enhance green space or provide more green space?
So through the Heritage Conservation Strategy for Steveston, there is limited opportunities for too much green space. However, particularly through kind of the Bayview shared street options, we would be looking at opportunities to incorporate planters and other green space.
Okay, great. Next, when I looked at the options, and I recommend the public takes a look at the attachment because it kind of gives the potential, what it would look like under the options. I really liked option 4, personally. The one-way street, Moncton Street portion. It was the only one that got the one-way. And I liked it because it also provided expanded sidewalks on both sides, where the other options did not do that. And going back to the top areas for improvement that were identified, number 1 and 2, to me, those get satisfied with wider sidewalks. And then you mentioning to Councillor Hobbs there that the business key stakeholders were consulted. I would assume that they would probably prefer to have wider sidewalks in front of their stores. And also more parking. And it's only option 4 that actually provides more parking. And you can see that on the bottom of page 26, where it says our existing spaces are 155. And with option 2, we'd only go up to 173. Option 3, we go to 161. But option 4, we'd go up to 182. So my last question to staff on this is, if in the survey ranking part of the report, the little table there, if so many people chose if so few people chose option 2 as their last rank, I'm curious why so many chose option 4 as their last rank. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense that what was identified as the things we need the most, pedestrian space, active transportation, it doesn't seem to match what this survey says. Do you see, comment on that?
Yes, through the chair to Councillor Wolf, it's obviously hard for us staff to respond on behalf of all the people that voted. However, in our speaking with the public during our engagement sessions, there were strong opposition to some for the one-way street concept because it's a significant change to the traffic patterns in the area. And not everyone wants to see such a big change.
Okay, then just to clarify then, the way you see it right now is most opposition came to option 4 because of the one-way Moncton, not all the other stuff. It was the one-way Moncton that was the biggest concern?
That's correct.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Jack, hang on.
I really liked option 2. I understand that probably most people are opposed to option 4 because of the one-way concept. You know, I think I don't like it, to be honest with you. So I like the elements in option 2. Now my question is that right now, so staff's asking us to approve the concept and then go into a design concept stage, and then come back with a recommendation for the future.
Through the chair, that's correct.
Okay, so now I understand that you asked for the money in the 2025 budget process. So does that mean the concept design will be completed in 2025? And then the, depending on the result of the pilot project, the actual work or the finalized work will start in 2026.
Through the chair, we will likely come back to committee with the findings and recommendations once we complete the study work. So we would come back with concepts for what Bayview Street could look like if it was a shared street. And then we can also look at implementation strategy before we dive into actual work.
So can we assume that nothing will change until 2026?
With the exception of the pilot angle parking, yes, nothing will change.
Okay, that's good, thank you.
Just a quick question, following up on Councillor Alves. Do we know what the budget is for the record? How much we want to spend, and can we borrow the money from the rate stabilization and pay it back to get this thing going?
For the construction work.
Yeah.
At this time, because we haven't fleshed out the design, we don't have cost estimates yet to provide that information.
I just wondered from committee's point of view, because we hear so much from the Stevenson merchants in the complaints down there about parking, business being interrupted, or lack of business because of it. The staff might just take that under advisement to look and see if it can be moved up. There are ways of which just to borrow money from ourselves and pay it back. So I think if that can be recorded in the minutes. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We have 2 motions on the floor. Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Contrary carried. Okay. Next item is application by L Squared for rezoning at 80, 8100, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 8200 number 3 road from a small multifamily unit housing to the townhouse district. And we got Suzanne. We got 2 of you. So, okay, let me open the other mic and then we can have, okay, you're on. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Staff does not have any additional comments to provide, but we'll highlight a few points. This application is to facilitate the development of 40 townhouse units at 8080 to 8200 number 3 road. The project consists of 30 strata titled units, townhouse units, and 10 market rental units. The applicant has voluntarily agreed to provide 10 market rental units in the development, which will be contained within one stacked townhouse building and will be maintained under a single ownership. The market rental units will be secured in perpetuity with rental tenure zoning and a housing agreement registered on title. 50% of the townhouse units, of the market townhouse units, which is 5, include units with 2 or more bedrooms that are suitable for families with children. Effort was made by staff to work with the developer to modify the site layout in consideration of on-site tree retention. 2 on-site trees and 1 tree on a neighboring property are to be retained and protected. Based on the preliminary design, the common outdoor amenity space is provided in 2 separate areas across the site, specifically to facilitate the retention of existing trees. Additional information regarding one on-site tree was provided in a memo circulated to members of the committee separately. In accordance with the Local Government Act, should this application be allowed to proceed, council will be prohibited from holding a public hearing as this proposed residential townhouse use is consistent with the OCP. I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? All right, seeing none. Oh, Carol?
Thank you. Where would the 10 market rental units be? I'm looking at the map and it's so small. Is there any way you could show me maybe where?
Sure. Through the chair to Councillor Day.
Yeah,
It's right here on the west side, so fronting number 3 road.
okay, perfect, yeah. Maybe make that a little clearer when we go to council next week or whenever we go to council, because it'd just be nice to have it a little clearer to know which building it is, so, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Seconded? All those in favor? Contrary carried, thank you. Thank you very much. And the next item is an application by the Puni Group for agricultural land reserve non-farm use at 4880 Number 6 Road. And we have Suzanne and Stephen D'Souza. And yes, your mic is live, Stephen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nothing to add to the report, just a few highlights to provide. The application is an agricultural land reserve non-farm use application to allow the construction of a new driving range and clubhouse structure and to extend the lease of the existing driving range area for up to another 25 years. The property is located in the ALR and is split zoned, with the southwestern portion of the site zoned golf course and the remainder of the site zoned agriculture. The non-farm use application pertains only to the portion of the site zoned golf course, which currently contains a driving range, clubhouse, and associated parking. The proposed new 2-story driving range and clubhouse structure is located on a similar footprint as the existing 1-story structure. The proposal also includes utilizing the existing parking area with some modifications to accommodate a new loading space and 4 accessible parking stalls. The proposal will not increase the land area used for driving range purposes and will not impact the agricultural use on the rest of the property. Should Council and the Agricultural Land Commission approve the proposal, a subsequent development variance permit application would be required in order to consider the proposed variances to building height and fencing height. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Michael, hang on here.
Yeah,
There
thank
you
you.
go. Michael?
Appreciate that. Yeah, so this, interesting to me is the section on lighting. That's on page 74, the paragraph at the bottom there, and it says that there's no record of lighting related complaints associated with the existing facility. Where did you, where did you look to find no complaints? Because I've complained, and I know other people who said they've complained. So maybe the complaints have gone to the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, or maybe the complaints have gone to Vancouver Coastal Health. Where did you look for the complaints?
Yes, through the chair to Councillor Wolf, that this was we had to look through the bylaws records in terms of bylaw staff, in terms of any records that came, I guess, to the city for complaints.
Oh, okay. So yeah, when I head from Hamilton into the center of Richmond on Highway 91, and on your right-hand side, the lights coming off of this facility are direct, like it seems like they're aimed at the drivers on the highway. And the hours of that these lights are on as well seem to go, like, the place is closed, there's nobody in it, but the lights are still on full. And I don't know, unless they're going out there to collect the balls at night and they need the lights on, but that's not what I see them doing. So I really appreciate in here, it says that the applicant is committed that the future lighting will be downward facing and will be dark sky compliant. To follow the industry standards and stuff. Are they able to do that with the current lighting, or is this only when they install the new lighting?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, that might be a question best answered by the applicant. However, the current proposal is to address it along with any other elements through the development variance permit that are outlined in the report as sort of a package.
Okay, then one other question in regards to that through the chair is, it mentions that there's measures to be taken to reduce nuisance lighting to Highway 91. Are those measures just what I mentioned, the downward facing lights? Or will there actually be the fencing that's going to be high enough and the fencing design will reduce lighting as well? Is that correct?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, the intent is a combination of dark sky and full cutoff. However, there will be a more thorough review as part of the development variance permit to see what other options there may be to consider.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Motion on the recommendation then? Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Contrary, carried. Thank you very much. All right, managers' reports in public. No managers' report. Adjournment? Move adjournment. Thank you. And we have an in-camera, so we'll have to.
It's 4:15. We'll call the meeting to order for the Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting of October 16th. The first item on the agenda is, go ahead, come. I had a question about this. Come and join us, staff. The motion to adopt the minutes of the September 11th, 2024 meeting. All those in favor? We have a motion. All the second. All those in favor? Okay. No, we're going to do the open first. Yeah, the closed one's got the weird minutes from 2022. Are we okay with that, everybody? Okay, all in favor? The next committee meeting will be November 20th, 4 o'clock here in, I think, the Anderson Room, not the council chambers, as the agenda says. All right, number one on the agenda is a Green Ambassadors Program update, and Christina's here to update us or add anything to the memo or the agenda item.
Madam Chair, staff are pleased to present this report highlighting the ongoing success of the Green Ambassador Program, which has been in place since 2010. This program represents a strong partnership between the city, Richmond students, and the school district, fostering youth involvement in waste reduction efforts. Since 2016, when program data collection began, over 900 students have volunteered over 19,000 hours, making a significant impact on waste diversion at events across Richmond. As we continue to explore new opportunities to expand and improve the program, we are happy to share its progress with committee today, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
What an exciting program. I'm sure Councillor Wolf has got something to say about this, being a teacher in the district.
Yes, thank you, Chair. A couple of questions, and I think I have a referral motion at the end. First, I want to just highlight one of the phrases in here that I really appreciated, that our Green Ambassadors, their technique is by showing rather than telling. You see a lot of people trying to support waste initiatives, waste reduction, and they'll either take the tray and do it for you, or they'll put everything in the bin, we'll sort it elsewhere later, maybe. And then there's others who will just provide you the bins and hope for the best, but I often see people standing there humming on, where does this go, and then into the garbage. Where the Green Ambassadors do a great job, a great service to the city to not only help at the events at diversion, but people that can then take that initiative home and other places that they go in the city and elsewhere. So it really is a valuable learning service that they provide. And I think is part of the reason why we're continually improving our diversion rate. And so that's just a comment, no question there. But my question does come under the future opportunities heading of the report. So the cross organizational alignments and linking skill building to get them into green careers. what do we track for data right now when it comes to green ambassadors kind of graduating out of the program? Where do the majority of them go? Do we have any data on that?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, we don't have any data. We do have students that come back and volunteer with us as alumni, and they share where they've gone on their journey, but no actual data is tracked from that.
So, I'm not sure if there's any other discussion, otherwise I can go straight to a referral motion. So I would like us to consider the Youth Climate Corp BC. Now, at the UBCM just recently in Vancouver, I attended a session that expressed this, or the group was there speaking on behalf of themselves, and how they've partnered with some cities like Squamish to have they hire the staff. It can work within a city so that it's not a union conflict. It's supplying livable wage, low carbon future related jobs for young people. And when I talked to the person afterwards and mentioned our kind of Green Ambassador program, he's like, that would be such a benefit to have that in place already, because there's that pool of people who have already worked with the city, and the Youth Climate Corp, they specialize in that kind of next stage to get those people who are volunteers into climate jobs in the city that they live in. So first off, do you have any, maybe before I make the referral motion, do you have any comments on that as a potential future opportunity for the Green Ambassadors?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, I don't know about this corporation, so we'll definitely look into it further. But we are always encouraging the students and alumni graduating through the Green Ambassador program to continue their volunteerism and green initiatives with the city as well. So definitely interested.
Great.
Thank you.
So then I'd like to make a referral motion that we have staff look into a working agreement with the Youth Climate Corps, British Columbia, YCCBC, and then I'll just this blurb about them. It's a climate action campaign and program that builds on youth leadership to foster climate resilience and a livable, low-carbon future while paying young people a living wage. And you can find more at youthclimatecorps.com. And so I'd like to make that referral motion.
Is there a seconder for the motion? I'll second it. Councillor Au, did you want to speak to it? Yeah, did you want to speak to it? No? Okay. Councillor Liu, I'll click on you. There we go.
Thank you. I think it's an interesting idea. I don't think we should be directing staff to come up with a contract with them. I think we should amend this to say staff to look into the Youth Climate Corps and report back to us first, and then we can decide if we want to enter into a contract with them.
Councillor Wolf,
I'll
is
make that amendment.
Okay, is that a friendly amendment, or?
I thought the language I used was have staff look into.
Just click your button.
Have staff look into a working agreement. No way did I say for us to have a contract.
Okay, so I think we're all on the same page. Yeah, is that okay with you, Councillor Liu?
Sorry, a working agreement to me sounded like a contract, so.
Look, he said look
So-
into
Look
a,
into it.
So report back on, okay, thank you.
all right. Well, I mean, I think it's build on the success that we already have, so why not see if we could take it to the next level? And, you know, hey, they've already had the training, and they're now mentoring the students and coming back, and so it makes sense to take it to the next level. So, all right, any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that is passed. Thank you very much. Oh, we also need to make a motion to accept for, receive for information the Green Ambassadors Program update. And seconded, all those in favor? Perfect, thank you. Sorry, I should have done it in the other order. Okay, number 2 on the agenda is the proposed amendments to the traffic bylaw 5870 for speed limit reductions in Steveston. We have Sonelia here to give us some more updates or more information on this report.
Madam Chair, I don't have any additional information, but staff are certainly available to answer any questions.
Okay, do we have any, we have Councillor McNulty.
Just a quick question, if I could. For number in Steveston, four road, there's 4th Avenue and 7th Avenue. Are they included in the 30K?
Through the chair to Councillor McNulty, yes, they are.
I think we're going to have to do a massive publicity stunt once this is out with regard to, many people still think throughout the town side it's fine, but on 7th Avenue, it still demands 500 from Stevenson Highway to Gary Point. And I really think we're just going to have to say, because recall, for those of you who can recall, we did have a death on 7th Avenue years ago, so because of speed. So anyhow, it's just a positive, good report, supported 100% when it comes to council. Thank you.
I have a question. So would that also apply to buses that use the area?
Through the chair, yes, the revised posted speed limit of 30 kilometers per hour would apply to buses and all other vehicles.
I'm sure lots of people appreciate the buses going a little slower. All right, are there any other questions or comments? Okay, do we have a motion to? Oh, I'm very sorry. We have a delegation who would like to come and speak to us. I apologize. Come forward. Thank you.
The man that started it all.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, committee members. I am very pleased with the traffic study results that the city staff conducted. Sorry, my name is Alex Sager, V7E 3L2. I'll just start from the top here. Good afternoon, committee members. I am very pleased with the traffic study results that the city staff conducted. I agree that it is a smart move to reduce the speed limit within Stevenson proper. While I understand that some councillors may have had viewed this as a waste of time and money, slowing vehicles down due to the narrow roads in the neighborhood is a great way to enhance safety for kids and families in our community. I did have one question though. Was there any consideration given to placing stop signs on 6th Avenue in this area? While gathering signatures of support from for the traffic study, I spoke with many residents on 6th Avenue who expressed hope for stop signs at key intersections along 6th Avenue. I appreciate, thank you to the city for taking action on this much needed safety improvement for our community. Bert, thank you.
We will ask those questions of staff. We also had a letter from Rocky Spencer on Dunford, and he said that he can't be here, but he supports the reduction in speed limits and also mentions that he thinks we need lighting on the Stevenson Park path. So we'll have staff come forward and answer those two questions.
Awesome.
Thank you. Councillor Wolf has a question.
Thanks. Could you comment on the physical traffic calming measures? There was a much lower response in the survey for people kind of not wanting physical traffic calming. When you went to talk to people, did they express concerns around speed humps and the noise impacts?
They did express concerns around speed humps, but I think they didn't understand that there's maybe a new modern way of installing speed humps. It's not like just a strip of asphalt that's more of a curb, like the way that you implemented on 2nd Avenue. Very nice gradual lift, but it's still, people do hit the brakes. There's a sign that says speed bump. So I think there may have been some misconception on that because people did comment they don't want their foundation shaking, they don't want their house shaking. So that maybe could have swayed their opinion on it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, why don't we have staff come forward and answer those two questions. Mr. Saggart asked about 6th Avenue stop signs. Has there been any discussion regarding that?
Madam Chair, yes, it's something that we assess based on warrants to determine if stop signs are the appropriate traffic calming or traffic device at an intersection. I don't have that data in front of me, but we can certainly take a look. I don't believe it's warranted at this time, but we can certainly review that location specifically.
Is it safe to assume that you would need letters from residents that requesting it in order to kind of initiate kind of a change?
Madam Chair, for stop sign installation, that's something that staff can implement.
Okay, so you'll get back to us on that. And then Mr. Rocky Spencer's question about lighting along Stevenson Park path. Do you know anything about that, or is that a Parks Department?
Madam Chair, we forwarded that on to our Parks Department as we understand that they're also reviewing lighting levels on other pathways in the city.
Okay, so they'll follow up with this gentleman. Yeah.
Madam Chair will follow up with park staff.
Perfect, thank you very much. Okay, so the motion is option 2, to reduce the posted speed limit on local roads in Steveston from 50 kilometers to 30 kilometers as described in the staff report entitled Proposed Amendment to Traffic Bylaw 5870 for Speed Limit Reduction in Steveston. That's dated September 17th, and that the traffic bylaw 5870 amendment to revise the posted speed limit be introduced and be given first and second and third reading. Do I have a motion for that? Okay, a seconder, perfect. Any other comments or questions? Okay, having none, all those in favor? Those opposed? Okay, that's approved. Thank you very much. Number 3 on the agenda is the Arterial Roadway Improvement Program, Top 20 Collision-Prone Intersections, Implementation of the Medium to Long-Term Improvements 2021, and Top 20 Collision-Prone Intersections, Implementation of a Medium to Long-Term Improvements 2022. This is a project update.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This report speaks to the status of 3 separate capital projects. Included in these 3 capital projects are 7 separate intersection upgrade locations. The current status of these 7 intersection upgrade locations is 1 is awarded for construction, 2 have received market pricing through procurement, 3 are within detailed design, and 1 is just in preliminary design. The report recommends option 1, which is to proceed with 6 of these intersection locations and defer 1 with additional funding from Roads DCC.
Yeah, so when I was reading the report, it was a little confusing. We have one price tag of $7 million, and then in the motion is actually $3.750 million. So this is just a top-up, is that correct?
That is correct, Madam Chair.
Yeah, okay. Lots of interesting information in the report. Thank you very much for all the details. Does, I think Councillor Wolf has got a question?
Yeah, thank you. So is there anything particular about the cost of escalations that we were surprised by, or that we weren't able to predict this? Because we've seen any like buildings have costed a lot more because there's a lot more material to that. But what factor is it when it comes to taking out a channelized lane that's going to cost so much more?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, I believe these projects have seen inflation, as many construction projects have, largely due to time. These projects often take longer to design. There's more steps along the way. And in the time since we approved these budgets, we have seen that inflation that you speak to. Yeah.
Thanks. A follow-up I have is around one of the channelized intersections. It's the Four Road and Alderbridge, which is in the third set of projects. It's already in there, and it says that the detailed design to complete, insufficient funds. But when I go past that, it's one of the main intersections I go through, it looks like we've already been doing the work. We've already kind of stripped that island, that concrete island away, and it's now like a gravel bed on top. So do you know what I'm referring to?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, there is currently an active capital project on Four Road near Alderbridge, which is a flood protection drainage box culvert upgrade project, which might be the work you're seeing out there.
Okay, because it's specifically on the island of the channelized thing. Maybe they have to dig it up to access and something under there. Okay. Yeah, I support improving this. The option that's recommended, option 1, which is funding more. It hits many of our council strategic plans. It has support for pedestrian safety. To delay it or put these off for later, I think it wouldn't be wise. We're trying to keep people safe, keep people using active transportation. I think we've got to bite the bullet on this one.
All right, I believe Councillor Liu has got a question.
Yeah, thank you. Through you to staff. Thank you for the report. So how much has already been spent in work just to do the design work? Because you say that, you know, the budget's been stretched because of the time it took to do the design work. So even if we were to cancel it, half the work's already been done, right? So we've technically already spent the money.
Through the chair to Councillor, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but generally speaking, design work is approximately 10% of the total construction value. So that is the money that has been incurred in these accounts so far, is just the design work.
It's only 10%?
Roughly as a rule of thumb. Again, I don't have the exact expenditures to date in these accounts in front of me.
All right, and I was concerned about the top 20 collision-prone intersections and how that was implemented. And could you, how was that list put together? Could you just tell where the resources came from that gave us that information?
To the chair, in 2019, we did a comprehensive assessment. ICPC provides data on all crashes within the city. And so we did a comprehensive assessment on the crashes, the nature of crashes, fatalities, impact to pedestrians, cyclists, et cetera. And we put together a list of, these are the top 20 most collision-prone intersections that are priorities for improvements.
And I believe that list would also look at the severity of the accidents, because, I mean, while there's lots of little fender benders at 5 in Steveston, everyone's going like 10 kilometers an hour, whereas some of these, with the channelized turns, they're speeding up, if anything. Is that correct?
Madam Chair, that's correct.
Yeah, okay. All right, any other questions? So the motion is, staff recommendation is that option 1 be approved as presented, arterial road improvement program, top 20 intersections, and implementation of the 2022 plan. And then also part 2 is that a budget increase of $3.75 million, and that money would come from the DCC cost charges. So, second, okay, all those in favor? All right, perfect, that is approved. Then that won't, for the public, that won't mean a tax increase because the money's already in the funds. Number 4 on the agenda is the UBCM Community Emergency Preparedness Fund 2024-25 Disaster Risk Reduction Climate Adaptation and Grant Applications. And my question, of course, would be that the deadline was October 4th, and it is now October 16th, and maybe you could explain why that is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Given the tight timeline, staff went ahead and submitted an application already for this grant, and council can still decide if we want to continue forward with that. If not, we can withdraw the application.
And I understand that you only just received the information about the grants in September, so it's a very tight timeline.
That's about right.
Yeah, okay. Councillor Wolf has got a question.
Thank you, through the chair, staff. First, congratulations on getting the applications all in there and in the short timeline, and once again finding a way to fill all the funding categories with different projects. The specific project I had a question about is the Blundell Road Canal Improvement, which is the section of Blundell Road between Sittaway and Sixth Road. I've noticed in the last 5 years, a couple driveways have been taken out because these properties have had access with 2 driveways. And I thought maybe they'd take them down and rebuild a new culvert or something and then put a new driveway back over there. But that hasn't happened in these 5 years. Do you have any understanding of what is the plan there? Are we trying to limit people to only having 1 driveway? Or are we waiting for this canal improvement to happen first and then that kind of infrastructure can go on top?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, I don't have the details on those specific driveways. They are not related to this particular project.
Okay, all right, thanks.
All right, and then I had a question as well. So when we're dealing with riparian ways, this is not an ESA area on number 5 road from what I understand, but it is a riparian waterway. So have we got the approvals from the Ministry of Environment to go ahead with this?
Madam Chair, we will look into any of the required approvals, and if there's a QEP required, we'll have that on board as well.
Okay, but I believe it's a simpler process than if it's an ESA area, is that correct?
Don't know off the top of my head, but we'll certainly figure that out.
Okay, that's great. And so we're asking for full funding for these projects, so hopefully we're successful. All right, so the motion or the staff recommendation is that the application to the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund, that disaster risk reduction, as reported by UBCM, be endorsed, and that should the application be successful, that the CAO and the General Manager of Engineering and Public Works will be authorized to execute funding agreements with UBCM on behalf of the city for the drainage pump station, the flood protection, rain gauge monitoring, and the Blundell Road Canal improvements. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what it says. Do I have a motion? Second? Perfect. All those in favor? That is approved. All right, we have some managers' reports.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to provide an update on the Steveston Interchange Project to committee. Construction activity, if you've been out to site, has expanded further west at the intersection where the southbound ramp from Highway 99 ties in to Steveston Highway. So what's going on there is the work is getting ready for a key milestone of the project, which is switching traffic from the existing overpass onto the newly constructed overpass structure that's being built right now. So this work at the west intersection has commenced and will continue till November 7th, I believe. And the switchover of traffic to the new interchange section will be anticipated to occur in the end of November. So what that facilitates, once traffic's rerouted, is that the old Steveston overpass can be demolished and works to facilitate the remaining structure for the future 5-lane interchange can commence.
So we will go from 2 lanes to, I think, well, just 2 lanes to 2 lanes or 2 lanes to 4 lanes eventually, right? So
That's right, Madam Chair, 2 lanes to 5 lanes.
5 lanes. Ooh, right. Wonderful. And will there be any traffic changes, traffic pattern changes?
Through the chair, there is some traffic management changes. A lot of the work is happening at night to minimize disruption to Steveston Highway traffic.
Perfect. Well, it's going to be exciting to get our new overpass. It's long overdue. Thank you. Was there another manager's report?
Madam Chair, I just wanted to quickly introduce Ryan Windsor. He's our new manager of flood protection and operations. Ryan is new to the role, but not new with the city. He has been with the city for 14 years.
Oh.
He brings a great deal of operational experience into his role and some excellent relationships among the city. So
Wow,
just
well,
he'll
welcome,
provide you with an
Ryan.
update on the our operational readiness around the seasonal rains.
Seasonal rains, yeah.
Hello,
ahead.
thanks for having me. So yeah, we wanted to provide committee with an update on our operational readiness for seasonal weather. A few of the things that we're doing to ensure that we're ready for the rain that is now falling outside. We do have our Ready for Rain campaign, which has commenced this week. So this is an annual campaign that we do to create public awareness and help ensure our residents are as ready as they can be for the seasonal weather. This includes a direct mail out to approximately 6,000 residents in heavy leaf dropping neighborhoods that helps let them know how they can best clear the grates on their property, how they can ensure that they're not dumping all their leaves or blowing them into the street, into the gutter, where it's going to create issues. In addition to the mail out, we've also got ads that are running in both English and Chinese newspapers over the next 2 weeks, transit shelters, social media, and at city facilities. So these ads, again, are letting people know what they can do to help make sure their property is protected. It also lets them know what the city is doing and that we've got sandbags available at the yard if someone was in a lower lying property where they had concerns, that we've got available for the public.
Well, great way to stay ahead of it. Did you have a Councillor Wolf, did you have a question?
I did. Thank you. What about landscaping companies that do business in Richmond? Do we provide them direction? Because sometimes you see them working at a large multifamily complex and they're with the blowers at the end of the thing, just blowing stuff out onto the streets.
We don't, through the chair to Councillor Wolf, we don't currently have a targeted campaign to landscapers, but it is something that we've adjusted this campaign each year. And this actually did just come up in a meeting that we're going to maybe look at sending information letters to stratas as part of next year's campaign.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then the last one, you mentioned sandbags. Are they only going to be kept at the one location, or in previous years, I think some other city sites had some stored?
Through the chair, we do have throughout the entire fall and winter sandbags available at the city's operation yard and on Linus Lane. If we get into a major event, something similar to 2021, where we feel like there could be widespread issues, we do have, I believe, 3 other locations that are identified throughout the city where we would set up a sandbag station through community centers.
Just a follow-up question on that for me. Is there any cost to residents who need sandbags?
There is no cost.
Okay, they just got to do the bulwark.
They've got to do the bulwark, and if it was a big event, again, we do have staff that are out there to assist, seniors or other people that may come that would have trouble being able to dig a sandbag on their own.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Great work. All right. Any
No
other
problem. Oh, I
updates?
was going to say, that's fine, but we do have our first significant event forecast for this weekend, so we're continuing to monitor that and just update committee on some of the steps that our staff are making. We are creating, a number of pre-event activities. This involves sweeping our heavy leaf routes, a lot of hand clearing of any catch basins on our major roads, low leveling of all of our canals. It is cranberry harvest season right now, so we are in communication with the farmers that are currently also discharging into the system. So there's a number of steps that we're taking to ensure that we are ready to go for when rain does come.
Excellent. Good way to stay ahead of it. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Well, are there any other questions or email? Okay. Call for adjournment? Second. All those in favor? Perfect. So we have a closed meeting, so I'll have to unfortunately ask people to leave.